Hey, church family, I got a question for you. And my question is, why are we surprised when God answers prayer? One of my favorite stories is found in the book of Acts, and it's one that we haven't come to yet in our study because it's found in Acts chapter 12. It's the story of a time when Peter was in prison, and the church had been fervently praying for his release. And in response to their prayer, God miraculously intervened and freed Peter from his imprisonment. And we're told that Peter knocked at the door in the gate, and a servant girl named Rhoda came to open it. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed that instead of opening the door, she ran back inside and told everyone, "Peter is standing at the door." "You're out of your mind," they said. When she insisted, they decided it must be his angel. Well, you'll be happy to hear that the story has a happy ending. Peter kept on knocking, and finally they let him in. And the church was amazed at all that had happened. But the story does beg the question, why are we surprised when God answers prayer? I was recently reading one author's take on that question, and he suggested a number of reasons, of which I'll share with you three. Number one, we're surprised because we haven't studied enough of the Bible stories of answered prayer. The fact is, our God has always been a prayer-answering God. In the Scriptures, He answered prayers for Abraham, Moses, Joshua, Hannah, David, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Hezekiah, Jesus, Paul, and so many others. When we don't know the stories, we don't always expect God to hear us. A second reason is that we prayed prayers, sometimes for a long time, and God hasn't answered yet. And we make the mistake of thinking that God's delay is the same as His denial. The longer we wait for an answer, the harder it is to keep trusting that God is listening. And so when God does come through, it's almost unexpected. A third reason is that we don't always hear about answered prayers even when God does answer. I think many of us are guilty here. Sometimes we're quick to share our prayer requests, but not quite as quick to let others know about His answers. My prayer for each of us is that God would help us to be amazed, but not surprised when He does answer our prayers. Amen.